In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Eternal God and Father, this morning, although celebrating this key transitional moment very differently than we ever expected, we are filled with profound gratitude as we look upon the faces of these young people who 17 or 18 years ago entered their families and 4 years ago entered Lancaster Catholic to be formed to know, to love, and to serve you. We and they thank you for their gift of life, by which you have enriched their families and our community of Catholic High. We and they thank you for their abilities and talents that they have developed so amazingly beyond our expectations. We and they thank you for their smiles and tears, their laughter and whining, their sleepy eyes and loving hugs. We and they thank you for their generosity, their goodness, their enthusiasm, and their selfless service to others, by which we see your love has been so joyfully reflected in our world to us. And we and they thank you for your Son, Jesus, who has taught us to know, to love, and to serve you. Be with us now as we mark their passage from student to graduate, that as we celebrate their accomplishments and talents, their growth in knowledge, wisdom, and grace, we may also recognize ever more clearly your divine hand in all this. And bless them, Lord, with your divine wisdom, to recognize through the coronavirus, the social upheaval, the readjusted priorities, and the adaptability to new challenges, your preparation for them to confront and to trust in you and in themselves as they await the new challenges ahead of them. We ask all this through Christ our Lord.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
O Catholic High, we hail thy name, love guardian of our youth. O radiant the holy flame that lights thy lamp of truth, we pledge you our firm loyalty, O alma mater dear. We'll cherish, love, and honor thee, and thy great name revere. We'll cherish, love, and honor thee, and thy great name revere.
Please be seated. On behalf of our board and faculty and administration and staff and students, I'm pleased to welcome you all to the graduation ceremony of the Lancaster Catholic High School class of 2020. We are delighted to be able to conduct this very important event in person in the lives of the young men and women gathered here, like you, all of whom we treasure. I thank our distinguished visitors, Father Wolf, members of our clergy, our faculty and staff, and a distinguished visitor, the new principal at St. Anne St. John Newman, formerly of our staff, Mrs. Kyla Hockley, an alumnus of Catholic High. To you, the members of the class of 2020, I'm sure none of you could have imagined a year ago that we'd be standing here in the stadium that you inaugurated, playing the first full season on it when you were younger. Finally, after 2 months holding your graduation here in July. 2 months after it was originally scheduled, but here we are. While you may be the only class ever to graduate from Catholic High in July, you are, in fact, the latest in a long line of Catholic High graduates. Dating back to the first class, your predecessors that graduated in 1929. And I imagine, if you're like me, that at some point during your 4 years, as you were walking down the hall in Old Main, maybe hurrying to your locker or to the gym or to see scenes from the spring musical, you stole a glance up at the faces and the pictures of those earliest graduates, your predecessors, especially in that first class those many years ago. As you looked at those ancient class pictures, maybe you saw a picture of your great-grandparents, your grandfather or grandmother, or even your parents. I'm sure that you probably were surprised, even though they didn't look or dress the way that we do today, that their faces just seem somehow familiar, like you and your friends and classmates. But I'm sure you thought at the time they really couldn't have felt anything like we feel. How could they? Their lives were nothing like ours today. They lived in a world without cell phones or Snapchat or Instagram or Netflix. Yes, indeed, their world was very different from ours. But the times they lived in shared some striking similarities to our own in more than a few ways. As you have, they grew up in a time in the 1920s of unprecedented prosperity and change. But their world was about to change on that graduation day in a dramatic fashion. As they proudly walked up to receive their diplomas, they couldn't have imagined the scope of the wrenching challenges they would face as they left the safety of 650 Juliet Avenue. Within weeks of graduating, that first class faced the onslaught of the worst worldwide economic depression in history. That depression destroyed the livelihood of millions and made it impossible for many of those graduates even to find a job or to move on to college. For a decade after they graduated, joined by the next classes of their fellow Catholic High alums, they struggled along until another worldwide catastrophe struck, World War II. Many of their classmates and fellow alums served in that war, and more than a few died. The outcome of that war was the invention of atomic weapons that for the first time made it possible for humanity to destroy the whole planet and everything in it. Their kids had to practice hiding under their desks and drilling by lining up and moving in an orderly fashion down to the fallout shelter. They experienced a technology at least as life-changing as the internet with the advent of television, which for the first time showed them in graphic detail the ongoing evils of violence and racism in their living rooms, destroying their illusion that the Civil War their grandparents fought got rid of all that. No, those members of the class of '29 could never in their wildest dreams have imagined what lay ahead for them as they received their Catholic High diplomas. And yet somehow, as those first graduates became senior citizens, historians began calling them the greatest generation. Not because they had experienced these changes and challenges, for lots of other generations did too. They were called the greatest generation because of the way they rose to meet those challenges. The fact that they persevered and refused to give up no matter how bad things seemed. How they pulled together and how they dealt with being pushed beyond their comfort zones, way beyond their comfort zones. I believe you, the class of 2020, have all the ingredients needed to become our next greatest generation. You've already begun by rising to meet the wrenching and discomforted, unprecedented changes that you faced in the last couple of months due to this COVID pandemic that deprived you of so many of the things that you expected and looked forward to. Like those earlier generations, you've done so with perseverance and a can-do attitude, and by finding ways to help one another. You held fast to the principles of the gospel and worked hard to develop the many gifts that God gave each and every one of you. None of us knows what will come next, but neither did they in the class of 1929. You will be challenged, maybe in ways just as profound and disturbingly as your predecessors of that first class. I hope and pray that when you leave here today, you leave with the confidence that is the root of everything we've tried to teach you these 4 years. The confidence that you are a person of infinite value, created by God and unconditionally loved by Him. Confidence in the gifts God gave each of you in a unique way, and the belief that you will find meaning and fulfillment in your life by using those gifts to make whatever corner of the world you inhabit and the people in it just a little bit better and a little bit stronger. The belief that we learn and grow best together in communities, affirming and supporting one another in our journeys. And finally, confidence in the assurance of our Savior, Jesus Christ, that He will be with us always and will give us the strength to bear whatever we must bear. And most of all, confidence in His instruction to all of us to be not afraid. In conclusion, from all of us at Catholic High, your teachers, your coaches, your counselors, and your friends, know that our love, our prayers, our hopes go with you as you leave us today and will be with you always. May God bless you, the next greatest generation, now and forever. And now it is my great honor to introduce our salutatorian, Catherine Teresa Keane.
Good morning, Crusaders! First, I would like to welcome President Tim Hamer, Principal Terry Clue, Vice Principal Adrian Howe, faculty, staff, parents, and my fellow graduates. I'm going to start off by asking a question, one that many people before us have asked and still continue to today. What is the meaning of life? Some may think they have an answer, but others may not even know where to start. Before I came to Lancaster Catholic, I was one of the many who had no idea what that meant. However, after these memorable 4 years in the halls with outstanding teachers and inspiring classmates that I so love, I have come to a realization of what I perceive as the meaning of life. First of all, I'm going to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Things have changed for us vastly. We may not be so happy with what has happened in these last few months of our senior year, but let's look at some of the small positives that have resulted from it. We have the opportunity to have our graduation in this beautiful stadium in sunny weather and not in the cramped, hot gym. We can be thankful for God for that. In addition, we have been blessed with numerous videos of our faculty and staff commending us for our past 4 years of hard work and dedication. And on behalf of the entire senior class, I can say that those videos meant so much to all of us. I think it's time that we say thank you to the faculty and staff for being so resilient during this time of uncertainty and for encouraging us to work so hard to still be the best LCHS community, even when we were facing such great odds. Philosopher Eric Hoffer once said, "In a time of drastic change, it is the learners who inherit the future. The learned usually find themselves equipped to live in a world that no longer exists." One of the main reasons that we have been put on this earth is to learn. This may have been obvious to you because clearly we are supposed to learn, or why would we be here? But it goes deeper than just an education. It is about life lessons that we discover, whether it be from tragedies that strike us, hardships that we never thought would come our way, small joyous moments, or influential people in our lives. I know that every single person in this stadium can surely say that one lesson that we have learned from this unanticipated pandemic is that we should never take anything for granted. During the second week of March, I had no idea, like many others, that it would be our last week roaming the halls of our beloved school. Even up to our last day, I still hoped that we would be back. Never did I take the time to tell all of my classmates and teachers how much I appreciate them, because I thought I would have that time at the end of May. This is our time now. This is our time to make sure that we have no regrets like these. We must make sure that those people who are sitting at home right now, who love us so dearly, but cannot make it to this graduation ceremony, know just how much we love them and how much we appreciate their daily sacrifices. I can definitively say that without the teachers that have pushed me to be my very best, I would not be standing up to this podium right now speaking to our class of 2020. Although I never had the chance to say thank you to them personally, I want to use this opportunity to do so. I would like to share with you just a little bit of something that I have learned from every teacher I've had these past 4 years. Some of these teachers I've had for 2 or even 3 years, and some of them I've only had for a semester, but the lessons they have taught me will last until the day I die. Dedication is something that results from hard work and a deep love for what you are doing, and that deadlines are extremely important in the real world. Mr. Russell. Preparation results from much practice and deep-seated persistence. Mrs. D'Elia. Don't expect perfection after only the 3rd draft. Keep improving and making yourself better. Mrs. Giacchetti. There are times to work harder than you've ever worked, and there are times to take a break and laugh at yourself. Always stay humble. Miss O'Keefe. A generous heart can change someone else's life. Never leave your core values behind you. Senora Ringline. A joyous smile and laugh can brighten your day, and more importantly, brighten someone else's day. Mrs. Martin. Don't be afraid of who you are. Take everything you have learned and make a difference in the world. Mr. Rothwell. Simply being there for someone is enough. Never ever give up, because what matters most is the fact that you keep trying. Mrs. Stanley. Being kind and offering a helping hand will take you so far in life. Love what you do and those who surround you. Miss Kinsey. Even if people are talking over you, keep being persistent in spreading your message. Also, laissez-faire means, Mr. Martin taught us well. An eye for attention to detail and a meticulous way of life will lead to great success. Mr. Sharp. Stay motivated. Whenever you feel as if you can't go on, take an extra step. Never surrender to yourself. Coach Andy. Come out of your shell and be the leader that you are meant to be. Mr. Blazik. Never lose your faith. It is the most important thing to lead you on your journey. Mrs. Kotchin. 4 hugs a day are needed for survival, 8 hugs a day are needed for maintenance, and 12 hugs a day are needed for happiness. Also, a little encouragement for someone means more than you know. Mrs. Mason. A random act of kindness really makes a difference. Mr. Kotchin. If you are committed to doing your best job, you will shine. If you care for your peers, you will get far in life. Es lo que es, Senora Cunningham. There are no limitations when you are absolutely driven and passionate about teaching others. You do not have to have every strength and capability to be the most intelligent and well-spoken person in the room. Dr. Hayes. Although I have not had a personal experience with every teacher here at Catholic High, I am grateful for every single one of you because of the vast growth that you encourage in your students. I know that what you have done for us for the past 4 years will stay with us, even if the individual lessons about the Korean War or the mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell fade away. The impact that you leave on us never will. As you can see, there are common themes shared among these lessons. They are dedication, faith, kindness, and persistence. A few things that I believe are necessary to fulfilling our God-given purpose. So, now that we have absorbed all of these words of great significance, what do we do with them? We live them and teach them, simple as that. It is our turn to be teachers for others, even though we don't have a degree just yet. Because truth be told, we have everything we need to lead us forward. We have our God, our grit, our determination, and our own strength. We have all we need to take on the world. The wise Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So I want you to promise me this. Utilize your gifts and your talents, serve and direct others with your wisdom, and never, ever give up on yourself. You only have one life to change the world, so why not start now? I hope that each lesson I have shared with you can influence you in some way, and that you can remember the lessons that your Catholic High teachers have taught you over these years. Inscribed in these lessons is the meaning of life: to learn, to teach, to serve, and to love. Thank you.
And now we'll hear from the class valedictorian, Matthew George Keebler.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome President Tim Hamer, Principal Terry Clue, Vice Principal Adrian Howe, all faculty, staff, parents, and my fellow graduates. What's good, Lancaster Catholic Class of 2020? When Mr. Clue first told me I was going to be giving this speech, I was truly honored. He advised me that I should be myself and that my speech should reflect who I am as a person. Mr. Clue, I don't think you know what you got yourself into. Before I get into what I really want to say to you all, I feel like I should give you some insight about myself. As Kevin Malone from The Office once suggested, why waste time, say lot word, when few word do trick? What I believe this wise scholar was attempting to so eloquently say is, why do humans use long, confusing words when a few words would do just fine? The answer is the need for us to show that we are better than someone else. I am not a showy person, and I hope that this speech reflects that philosophy. I have the special opportunity to give this speech even though I have not been at Lancaster Catholic High School since freshman year. Normally, this is the point of the speech where I would reference freshman year and how much we have changed since then. I would talk about how far away graduation once seemed and how fast time has flown by. Unfortunately for me, I cannot do that, but I can shed some light on how these past 2 years have helped to shape me. I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of you in various classes, in the halls, and in the lunchroom. I can truly say that I've had a lot of good times here. The long discussions with Father Arena that took examining our faith to a deeper level and having the opportunity to pray alongside one another will never be forgotten. I will always remember being rowdy at lunch and starting random chants that got the lunch ladies in a frenzy, or listening to the Ping Boys as they dropped new music. I will also remember in homeroom every morning as the teachers conducted awkward dress code checks just to ensure that our shirts were tucked in or our shoes were the correct color. We have all shared exciting moments, like when we beat McCaskey in that absolutely wild basketball game this season, or going to school dances and awkwardly slow dancing with our dates. Shout out Promise. We also share the experience of not going to Sadie Hawkins this year, even though it would be our last school dance. But now that all of that has come to a close, I know a lot of you are probably feeling as though that we've been robbed of our senior year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure you're expecting me to put some sort of positive spin on the situation, but to be completely honest, I am just as frustrated as all of you. To say the least, the quarantine has been a major disappointment. Students lost their senior sports season, the drama group never got to do their final play, and we all lost our senior prom. We did not get a typical senior year, but why should we have? Think about it. A lot of us were born around the time a tragic event struck the United States on September 11, 2001. We were born into a world that was faced with the need to undergo a major change. Now, upon our graduation and the beginning of our lives in the real world, we are faced with a world where people are scared to even leave their homes. Our future may seem uncertain, but as our fearless leader, President Donald Trump, once said, "No dream is too big, no challenge is too great, nothing we want for our future is out of reach." I'm confident that our lives will return to normal soon, and we will one day look back on this quarantine as a mere setback in our path to greatness. But what about the present? We're all gathered here today to mark the end of our high school career and the beginning of the rest of our lives. As Juice WRLD has sung, as we go on, we remember all the good times spent together. But as the best rapper of all time, Kanye West, has rapped, memories have to be the most painful blessings. Yes, we've had some outstanding memories, but these same memories have the power from holding us back to seeing what is in front of us. Think about the phrase, "Life's a beach." Try to remember a time when you were sitting at the beach and you were having the time of your life. The sun was hot enough to give you the tan that you wanted, but not hot enough to burn. The crash of the waves was a calming presence, and you were with those that you love most, but suddenly you see your mom begin to pack up for the end of the day. You're fired up because you aren't ready to leave yet, so you get in an argument with your parents until they allow you to stay. Within 20 minutes of your family leaving, you can start to feel your skin burn, and the wind is blowing sand all over your body. You're miserable, but you can't go back and face your family after you beg to stay, so you are forced to let your own situation worsen. Now, whenever you think back on that day, you do not think about the good time that you had in the beginning. Instead, you manifest on the horrible ending. At this moment, we are faced with the decision. Should we pack up our things and take on the next adventure that lays in front of us? Or should we live in our comfortable lives for a little bit longer? Leaving our relatives, friends, and all the people we have grown up with behind is possibly the scariest thing we've ever been asked to do. But this decision is vital for our future. If we decide to close ourselves off from the outside world and continue to live in our little box, we will never make any self-progress. Once we are finally able to make this realization, like the end of the beach day, the time will have passed to make that vital change. Absolutely no one wants to have that ultimate feeling of regret. That is why I challenge each and every one of you to embrace every opportunity that comes your way. There isn't one singular path after high school that is correct for everyone. Some of us will go on to a traditional 4-year college, some will join the military, some may attend a technical school, and some of us will not have the funds to do any of that yet and just need a year off to work. As long as you are working towards excellence in whatever you are doing, and you have a goal in mind that you are actively pursuing, your life will be full of meaning and purpose. In the future, as I sit in my jumbo jet, I know that I want to be able to look back on my high school career and remember all the fun memories that we shared, but let them be just that, memories. Although it may seem as though high school is our entire world right now, we need to remember that it is only a mere 4 years of our lives. We are bound to find new people and do new things if we allow ourselves to move on. I'm not saying leaving our comfortable lives will be easy, but if we keep moving forward with our lives, we will make an abundance of new memories. These new memories will not replace those that we have already made. Instead, they will enhance the overall experience of the short time that we have on this earth. Class of 2020, we made it this far, but our journey does not stop here. Thank you.
It is time, and it is time to honor, obviously, a very special class. You've heard from the beginning of our invocation, through the words of our president, Mr. Hamer, and the wisdom of our youth in Catherine and Matthew, why Lancaster Catholic doesn't speak to celebrating a graduation. We always speak of honoring it. If we had had a normal preparation time, I take a short time to speak to the seniors when we rehearse in the gym about the difference between being celebrating and being honored. I don't think I have to go into that much after the words we've heard here today. But if any class needs to be honored for who they are, who our Lord has created them to be, who as parents you have raised them to be, it is this class. I can speak on behalf of all the administration, faculty, and staff, how much we've missed you. And just in the short window of these last 2 days, what a great joy it has been again to be in your presence. And so in the spirit of honoring and the dedication that this class had to want us to be here today, thank you for that commitment, by the way. I am very proud to say these words. On behalf of Bishop Gaynor, the Secretariat for Education, our Lancaster Catholic Board, our faculty, our administration, I can say these words in confidence. I hereby certify that these students have fulfilled the requirements for graduation as promulgated by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the Diocese of Harrisburg, and the Lancaster Catholic High School Board of Education. I am pleased to present to you the Lancaster Catholic High School class of 2020. I will now be reading the names of our senior class, and as their name is read, they will approach Mrs. Howe. Grace Ann Abel. Hope Amanda Abel. Susanna Marie Avis. Liam Patrick Badger. Daniel Jeremy Bash. Zanaya Naeem Banks. Nicholas Thomas Barb. Bryce Matthew Bamer. Liam Andrew Bessaker. Peter Bernard Bilson. Jillian Grace Bradley. Lauren Catherine Brazina. Gabrielle Anna Bruno. Colby Augustin Card. Oliver Bennett Chairs. Nuo Chen. Jitian Chen. Dahe Tong. Brandon Jake Collins. Mary Frances Connolly. Alexis Lewis Cruz, Jr. Grace Marie Davies. Gabrielle Elizabeth DeTremp. Jenna Grace Diller. Anthony Emilio Dominguez. Michael Ryan Doherty. Kevin Joseph Drager. Shu Tong Duan. I thought so. Wen Dao Duong. Well, we have, I'm sorry. She's not here, apparently. Jack Fitzgerald Elliott. Jamie Regina Ely. Victor Manuel Fowlis III. Bernadette Marie Fertel. Severiano Christopher Flores. Matthew Dennis Flynn. Carrington James Frick. Aiden Taylor Frymore. Elizabeth Brittingham Fulton. Zitong Gao. Cameron Nashawn Garcia. Henry Thomas Gartley. Bedia Joy Gabala. Bedia, excuse me. I have, not to play on her middle name, I've had the joy of knowing Bedia quite a while, so I truly apologize for that. Nathaniel James Giles. Margaret Rooney Grassberger. Carmen Elena Guzman. Catherine Elizabeth Hafner. Lauren Adela Hagan. Jeffrey Tobias Harley, Jr. Evan Riley Hart. Kaylor Ann Haug. Austin Anthony Helm. Brianna Taishe Hicks. Catherine Ann Hollister. Rachel Faustina Hauser. Matthew Mikael Idoeta. Dylan Orman Joachim. Emily Ann Jog. Denzel Munga Cabaselli. David Kabimba Kamwanga. Todd Michael Kaufman. Catherine Teresa Keane. Matthew George Keebler. Jenna Lanae Keller. Aaron Joshua Kern. Sydney Rose Kirkner. Oliver Elaine Clemmer. Mariah Mary Coker. Melanie Rose Crady. Martha Joy Lapp. Ariana Josephine Larson. Haley Morgan Legenstein. Song Min Lee. Claudia Nicole Linky. Elizabeth Jane Lobeck. Erica Grace Luaso. Zachary Shane Luthi. Rachel Anna Mahoney. Christopher Donald Martin. Maria Catherine Martin. Marlia Jade Matters. Anna Josephine Meyer. Peter Thomas Mester. Andrew James Miklos. Zygmunt Anthony Mikula. James Michael Mikulski. Angel Martin Milflores Huerta. Kathleen May Miller. Gavin William Morales. Anne Christine Morris. Nicholas Dean Moyer. Amanda Elizabeth Ann Mueller. Kenneth Conrad Murphy. Leela Ann Navikas. Joseph Von Nguyen. Andrew Philip Nicholas. Zoe Zodel Oriwell. Maya Charlotte Palmieri. Ormari Perez Abreu. Cassandra Lynn Paris. James Joseph Pointer. Anthony Thomas Prisco. Angeline Marie Rand. Bryn Renee Rathsam. Summer Jade Reeser. Calixa Rivera. Sarah Leanne Roach. Carolyn Martina Rogers. Frankie Jonathan Ruiz. Irving Allen Ruiz. Catherine Marie Saad. Angeli Saldoa San Jose. Austin James Sauer. Margaret LaRue Scarp. Hannah Grace Schmidt. Cassandra Lynn Shusko. George Albert Seibert III. Peyton Christopher Schaefer. Anthony Michael Savillo. Liana Christine Smith. Matthew David Smith. Riley Aaron Smith. Tyler Janae Smith. Alexandria May Snyder. Zui Song. Sophia Lara Spanagle. Alexander John St. Dennis. Daniel Travis Stahovich. Gavin Michael Sullivan. Gisela Terron. Callan Liam Titus. Alexander Michael Vasquez. Jingyi Wang. Tianxiang Wang. Louisa Jean Water. Raymond Arden Wells III. Okay. Ian Paul Witkowski. Runzine 1. Jian Shu. Chenyua Yang. Yin Yang. Matthew Stephen Zemer. This is the oddest way we could possibly, I guess, end. But God bless us all. This commencement has concluded.